Hello, pursuers. Welcome back to another episode of The Pursuit of Happiness. I am your podcast host, Naz Kazimi. We have so much to catch up on, but before I get into it, how did you like the last episode with Potomac? I believe it was Potomac. And the mic. Is the mic not miking now? Oh my god, I'm so happy I figured it out finally. Yay! And it's got some really cool sounds, like my little mic set. Like, for example, if I say something funny and I want people to laugh, I could just, throw in some laughter. Isn't that so cool? Of course, I'm not going to do that. Corny! But guys, I'm so happy that I finally figured out my mic equipment. It's so fun. It's just so good that it sounds so much more like elegant, not echoey. And I'm still a little bit loud, so I have to try to make the mic volume lower for you guys. I do hold the mic quite close to my face. Just, I don't know, having the mic in front of you just makes you feel so much more boss-like, like you have a purpose. But what we're going to get into today is we're going to get into Beverly Hills. So without much further ado, we're going to start with Beverly Hills season 15, episode 3. Okay. Now, I don't have much to say about this episode. This was the episode that Bose had the ladies do the dating game thing. And I found it a bit boring. I'm going to be really honest. I find Beverly Hills up until this point quite boring. It's really not entertaining quite yet. Now, with that being said, maybe my level of entertainment means them getting into these big fights or just what I'm used to watching and what I'm used to watching the past few years. Not from the beginning where it was just all about, for example, let me put this again. Rachel Zoe coming onto the show was such a breath of fresh air because original Beverly Hills was completely like Rachel Zoe, how she comes on and she's this boss and she's this in fashion and she's grown up in Beverly Hills and similar to Kyle, when she first came on, like Jennifer Tilly kind of thing. When you see Jennifer Tilly, she's just all fun and games. And of course, there's times I get a little bit serious, but it doesn't overshadow her role on the show. She still has a good time and she's still about having a good time. And if a fight is about to erupt, she'll try to avoid it at all costs. It's a lot more, more on the fun side rather than the let's get nasty side. So I'm so much more used to the past few years where it's been Erika being grilled to the bone about her divorce from Tom and all where the money's gone and Sutton being a little see you next Tuesday, and then Garcelle being her little sidekick. It's just you get so used to that when it becomes much more tamer, you're just what's happened to the show. So it just kind of takes readjusting. I do like it. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it doesn't have the level of I don't know, craziness that it used to have. That's all I'm saying. So it's getting a little bit it's nice to watch for sure. It's very zen-like as opposed to everything else. And again, this is how Housewives in general used to be when it first started. So it's kind of funny that we're having a hard time kind of meshing with how it originally was. But you get so used to it getting to a level of craziness that you kind of it's your dopamine levels need to kind of get to that crazy again just to feel satisfied. It's really sick actually. But with that being said, let's get into episode 3. Like I said, Bose is hosting that date night for the ladies and no one's in a relationship. I think Bose is the only one. It's not that fun for me. It's not that entertaining for me. I just don't like to watch date shows in general. Ever since Patty Stanger's matchmaker, $1 Million Matchmaker, it's not interesting for me. Kind of boring, actually. Some interesting things to note from episode 3 is that Kyle finally admits that she could go bad at Angelina, which is something that we've already known. So I don't know why people are oh, she finally admitted it. Okay, sure. So maybe it's finally come out of her mouth, but this is still not the answer that we're looking for. We're still looking for why the headline said one thing and then she was saying something else. We're still looking for the answer about why her and Morgan are no longer talking about each other. What happened? I mean, Kyle could just as easily say things she could just as easily say something I'm not going to talk about this other person, but this other person is the one we talked about. She doesn't necessarily have to say the name. She can very easily dodge the name of the person, but still talk about why it was all over the headlines, why they did a spicy music video together, and then all of a sudden, like, nothing. You can still chat about that. And I think I've talked about this in the last episode that had to do with Beverly Hills. You can still bring that up and explain to the audience or to us viewers or to your friends about why there's been such a switch. And I think in her mind, she thinks that she has explained it because she said, well, this person no longer wants to be talked about in the press, and it was just too much for them to try to build a career outside of like Housewives. So having this much drama on them is just not something that they really wanted, and that's fine. But like, explain that in more detail. Like, she hasn't really said that. All now she said is, oh, I could go bad or I could go Angelina. Well, no shit, Sherlock. We all kind of knew that, You were just the only one that was kind of like denying it. But that's still not the answers that we were looking for. Amanda says that she used to watch The Streets. She used to watch on TV The Streets, so she takes her kids on via stroller on Clueless. So this is like a manifestation thing. So this is a new girl that's really all into like a manifestation mindset. I'm totally into stuff like that. I don't think that's bad. I think she even said it herself in the most best way. She's like, I found a niche, and the niche is like people that need to like kind of get into this mindset, and she was able to monetize that. So why not? And hey, all props to you. If you're able to take something like that and make it into money, there's always someone that's looking for something that's a way to help them, and maybe it is like, maybe some people need a practical way of looking at things, and some people need a more theoretical way of looking at things or mindset approach. Whatever helps a person get there. And it's not like what she's doing is bad or wrong, and she's able to make money off of it. So why not like take advantage and monetize it? Guys, it's LA. Even I like would die to go to LA, like, because LA anything goes. Like, have you not heard about all those things going on in the underground, like all the witchcrafty and like the guys that wear the cloaks and they have all these like secret meetings and these secret societies. Like, LA, anything goes. And I think part of that ritual of LA, of just being like part of that whole let's get rich, part of that entire like let's belong to something in LA, is that there's a little space for everybody, and that's why people like head out there. New York and LA, predominantly in the United States, but more LA, is because there's something for everybody. And that's just the underground world. That's just the stuff that's kind of like you don't make money off of. It's like belonging through like groups, kind of like playing volleyball, except like you join this like committee where it's kind of like the Illuminati, but it's like not. Well, same thing for this. Like, she found a niche for mindset. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, if you're able to monetize it and make a career and living out of it, that's great. And that's exactly what she's done. But what happens in the very last episode, because we're just skipping right through, because the whole pretty much scene was, or the episode was about the dating. But when you skip down to the very end of the episode, Amanda is giving Dorit advice, because I guess Bose and Amanda had met up and they were going to meet up with Dorit, and Amanda's like, listen, I know that you're into the financial mindset kind of like thing. If you could give Dorit some advice about how to move forward with her life, because right now, like, everything's up in the air for her. She doesn't know how the next paycheck is coming in, et cetera, it'd be very helpful for her. Bose being a friend. And Amanda's like, absolutely, sure, I'll do that. When Dorit finally arrives, what she starts asking Dorit, now I don't see a problem with this. I think Bose did from my reaction, the reaction on Bose's face, but she starts asking Dorit, like, okay, so first you have to really figure out what you want to be in this like relationship or this place that you're in. Do you want to be a provider? Do you want to be this? I don't think there's anything wrong with what she's asking. It's like anything else in life. When you're starting fresh, they say, or even let's say a business plan. When you're starting a business plan, they like write it down. What's your intention? What's your intention with this business? You can't just jump in any type of thing you want a loan. They want to see what your intention is, right? So I think what she's getting Dorit to do is first to really like, manifest, or really clearly outline in her head what and whether you believe in the manifestation stuff or not, really outline in your head what it is your intention is. Like, do you want to proceed as being the caregiver or the funder of this family? And if you do, you have to now make sure all your movements align so that you can make your primary goal, just like a pyramid. What's at the top? I want to be the breadwinner. Okay, great. Everything else that comes after that word that you just said, that you want to be the breadwinner, has to align with you becoming the breadwinner. So you can't say that you want to be the breadwinner, but then you're going off with all these random guys trying to get money off of them. And this is just me speaking hypothetically. It's not about Dorit. It's just I'm just giving you an example. If you want to be a person that starts your own business, you can't go work 3 other jobs working for people because it's not really aligning with you starting your own business. Sure, you can have one job where you're getting income in because obviously everyone needs money to like survive. But then where's the other stuff coming in that's going to help you align with your goal of starting your own business? You know, whether that be like now you have a business manager or you're talking to someone that's an entrepreneur, you're what are those things called? You're like an intern for someone, you know? So things have to align with your main goal. And sometimes that's why and it's not just manifestation, but in manifestation it happens a lot more. People say you just say it out loud and then you're putting it out in the world. And if that's a little bit too spiritual for you, what it means is like you're solidifying it. Like you're writing it down. It's just like a contract. You're putting it in paper. You're making it concrete. And this is what your goal is. Okay. So I think she just wanted to kind of give Dorit that boost. Okay. Because right now Dorit is all over the place. We can see it. Everyone can see it. But I think where Bose had it kind of like, Bose, because if you saw Bose's comment, she's like, I don't understand what the hell was that? Like, no, we need something like we need like action. Dorit wants actionable things, and that's fine. But Amanda's first going in with the mindset, like, you know, what is it that you want out of this? Now let's work towards that, right? Because I think sometimes you can go into a situation and you're all scattered. Well, I want this. I want the house to look like this. I want that to be like that. And it's like, whoa, let's narrow this all down. What is this all encompassing? Like you want, I don't know. Again, you guys, this is an example. I want my space to be safe. Okay, that's the main goal. That's the top goal. And from there, you break it down. I want my house to look like this. I want my driveway to be this. I want my bedroom. You know, like then you can break it down. But if you go in, like, I want all this thing like this. I want all of my bedrooms like this. People are like, whoa, I don't understand. Like it's everything, and it's just all scattered. It's just kind of like compiling your thoughts and your wants into more of a straight line, I think. So I didn't think that there was anything wrong with that. I just think there was a miscommunication. Bose really wanted Amanda to nail down and to help Dorit kind of get a little bit more actionable steps, you know, like things that we can do right now, today, to kind of help her out of this situation. And Amanda's kind of looking at it at more of a bigger picture. So both are right, none are wrong. One is just looking at it from a kind of different point of view, but I don't think either is wrong as well. So Bose might be confused, but Bose maybe should have been clear. Like, okay, I understand. Like, no, this is all great, but what can we do today? Like, actually do today, like physically, that we can kind of like help get her out of this. Does she need? And then, you know, does she need to see like a financial advisor? Does she need to get a lawyer, another type of lawyer, a business manager? Like, what can we do today to help so that she's kind of on the right path? Maybe at that point, Amanda would be like, oh, okay, I understand. This is really not my area. But I can point you in the direction of someone that can help you with that, you know? So the goals have to be clear, I think. But if you're just kind of inviting somebody in to sort of like shake things up and to make you think a little bit more different and clearly, I mean, you can't be upset at the instruction that they provide. Okay? So that was kind of my overall perspective on episode 3. First 3 episodes, not as, you know, yeah. We get to episode 4. It's starting to kind of like climb now, you know, the season. Episode 4 starts out with Sutton has cut down on her drinking. So I feel like if Sutton has to cut down on her drinking, it must mean that she was drinking a lot before. Or she recognizes now that she was. Which is so funny because for many, many seasons we tried to say this about her. Her having the Ocean's Maid, the drink in the cranberry juice, was it? In her bag. She would get pissed off when we mention it. Her always starting off everything with a drink. Her getting pissed off that anyone would even slightly mention it, or allude to the fact that she might be drinking a little too much or excessively or start way too early. So, I mean, just like anything, you just let things play out on their own and eventually people will realize it themselves, and it seems like she already has. She's planning a spiritual reset to Sedona. She's inviting all the ladies, and finally Jennifer Tilly is here. She's actually explained this to Jennifer Tilly. I'm really happy to see Jennifer. I love Jennifer Tilly. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, like at the podcast, I really love her energy. Like I mean, sometimes things can go awry, but she can kind of reel it back in. She doesn't let it go too far, and I think that's kind of admirable. I really admire people that don't let it. Sometimes, like, if it starts to go too left for me, like, I'll just follow. I'll just start going left. I'll be like, okay, well, like, if this is the direction that we're going in, like, I'm gonna put in my 2 cents too. I'm not gonna allow someone to like overpower me or overrule me, or But Jennifer has a really, and I think it just maybe doesn't affect her as much, way of just kind of reeling it back in. Like, she'll joke. She's totally like me in the ADHD sense. Like, when someone's telling a story, she has to just throw in like little comments. Like, I thought about that when I was watching her do it, and I'm like, why do I do that? And I'm like, sometimes it just makes the story much more interesting for you to process, not necessarily with the other person, whoever the other person is, but it definitely makes it a lot more interesting for myself to be able to process it. So, for example, if someone's telling me something about, I don't know, a story, and I just start saying, oh my God, yeah, like this, or how that happened, it's kind of like my brain's way of kind of like making sure that I'm keeping up with their story and I'm not losing, like, I'm not tuning out. And if I add a little, it's kind of like as if I'm writing it, but I'm adding side notes. You know how you like have the main notes and then you have like in the margins, you can write your own notes. It's like me putting in my own notes in the margins, except I'm saying it out. So when she was saying that, I totally fully understood her saying that, and I kind of loved it, to be honest. But yeah, having Jennifer Tilly there is just is such a breath of fresh air, especially because she understands Sutton so well. And so she even said, I think there was a comment here when Sutton had told her, look, you can't be mocking me. And I don't think Jennifer mocks her at all. Again, this goes back to what I was saying about us just throwing in our kind of, at times, involuntary comments when someone is telling us a story. And that's our way of sort of making sure that we're still clocked in and like paying attention. It's like adding our own sidebar notes to it. But then Jennifer even told Sutton, she's like, I'm not mocking you. Like, it's just me kind of making sure that I'm still keeping up with the story. I know what's going on. And then, in her confessional, she said sometimes Sutton doesn't realize that, like, she does these things and, like, sparks fly. Like, you just never know if those sparks are going to hit you or not. Like, sometimes it does get you, and she doesn't intentionally mean to hurt you, but in the end she does, And you see, and so back to me about liking Jennifer, that's where it ends with Jennifer. Like, she stops it right there. That's all she says about it. But for me, I would keep going, like, okay, so now that she's hurt me, is she going to take accountability? Is she going to realize, hey, by you saying that it hurt me? Like, there's so much more that you could go on and on about, but she's such a good friend, and she just understands. It just doesn't bother her as much, although she's aware that it's happening, right? So next scene, you see Dorit and Kyle meet at Dorit's house. And it's funny, my notes say Doritos. I think I just edited it that way. Meet at Doritos' house and chat about PK. Kyle is right in the sense that Dorit is constantly talking negatively about her divorce. And I'm not a divorce court lawyer, or I don't know how this stuff works, but from what I know, like, typically when you're in kind of a lawsuit type thing, like, you're not going to be talking so much about the other party. And I just find, like, Dorit just cannot stop. And, like, some of the things that she says are quite, I don't want to say quite negative. Like, these are things that she said before, but I feel like it doesn't really stop, and sometimes it's almost too much. Like, I do look at it and I go, I don't know if that's going to really help her in court, like, so I don't know if she has counsel advising her, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be talking about this too much, or she just doesn't care because it's not there yet. And I think that from what I heard, that they still haven't gone, they're trying to go to mediation, but they haven't. After mediation is court. I'm pretty sure at this point she has lawyers. I just wish that Dorit would just be a little bit more careful about how she talks about PK out in public. But Dorit has suggested that maybe she should chat with Mo, and Kyle is all for it. She's like, maybe I should chat with Mauricio myself, because in that way, if PK says something to Mauricio will be like, well, actually, I did talk to Dorit, and Dorit mentioned this. Is this true? And that way, it's not like, well, she said it to Kyle, and then Kyle said it to Mauricio. And I don't know if that's going to help or not, but I know the position that Dorit's in, and sometimes when you're just grasping at anything to just see if it will make this, you will try anything to see if you can get through to the other side. And if this is her way of trying and just making sure that she's doing her best to get to the other side, I understand that the need for that. I don't know if it's necessarily something that is absolutely necessary, like, you don't have to do it, but I get how, like, you're just trying at everything, you're grasping at any freaking straw that you can to make sure that the other side can somewhat understand your side, I think the hardest in any type of relationship when it comes to an end is when you thought that you knew the person so well and you guys would communicate so well at one point, and then it reaches a point where like the communication is absolutely like nothing, and you're like, but this person was the person that understood me the most. I just don't understand how we went from there to this, and now they act as if they have no idea what's going on, or like they don't even want to chat with you anymore. Like you're being ghosted by the person that you thought would understand you the most. It's a really hurtful feeling, and I feel for Dorit in this moment because she's stuck with the larger end of the stick, which is the kids. And I'm sure she doesn't mind that. She wants to have her kids, but then all the bills and everything on top of that. Like the girl is so skinny. Like no wonder she cannot eat. You know. Anything. Anyways. Moving right along. Rachel picks up Caius from camp, and her other son is in the Hamptons. Props to her being a boy mom. She said she wanted to be a girl mom. She said, all I want to do is be a girl mom, have one girl, and dress her up, and then she ends up with two boys. But she wouldn't trade it for the world, and I've heard that plenty from lots of girl moms. Boy moms. I also thought that I was having a boy, but I ended up with a girl. I love it, but I can just say the heart palpitations from just being boy moms. Like she was bitching at her son about riding the e-bike because I guess that he'd gotten in another e-bike accident before, and it was all over the press. It said Rachel Zoe's son, 13 years old, hospitalized from e-bike accident, and then he goes and buys another e-bike. Like those are the things that I cannot imagine. And I don't know if you guys watch TikTok, but on TikTok, yeah, all those nurses and doctors are like, these are the things that you'll never see me buying as a ER doctor or as an ER nurse. And one of it is an e-bike. They're like, I will never ever allow any of my children to ride an e-bike. I don't care if they have helmets. I don't care what they say. Never ever, because the accidents on those, people are left dead, paralyzed. Like it's the worst type of accident. And I agree, to be honest. But yeah, props to her because I hear that boys are just heart attacks waiting to happen, you know? Then we get into the scene where Amanda's invited to Kathy's, with Jennifer and Sutton. So I guess they're just having a dinner at Kathy's house, and Kathy kind of likes to make everything extravagant. Sutton first says that she does like Amanda, but then slowly she's starting to realize that Amanda's one to constantly one-up everyone, and of course production doesn't fail as showing us of examples in the last 10 minutes of Amanda constantly being like, oh, I had one of those. Oh, I used to do that too. And all these kind of things where she's kind of like, now, I don't think that she's trying to one-up. I think she knows her place among, for example, someone like Kathy Hilton. She could never one-up Kathy Hilton. She could never one-up Kyle. But I think it's just her way of kind of like being included, like including herself in the conversation. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why all of a sudden it's starting to trigger Sutton. But then as the show goes on, and we'll get into it, it starts other cast members, the other ladies start to notice this as well. I didn't even notice it at all. But again, they don't show us her doing that. They just showed the other ladies mentioning it, and then they clap back to the other scenes where she said it before to kind of like remind us that she said it. Production, man. Amanda, yeah. So, and then this is the part where kind of Sutton chimes in, where she's saying that she could have clocked Erika, and that all the ladies think that she's like, well, you know, me and Erika were chatting, and she said something about, oh, cancers can be especially like emotional or really mean. Something about that conversation, and she's like, I think that's when I got Erika. And then Sutton comes in and says, if you think that you've clocked Erika, you're so wrong. And I love how they had, like, I love how all the ladies kind of came to Erika's defense, even Jennifer Tilly. Now, I don't understand the severity of this. I don't think that it was that big of a deal. I think what made it a bigger deal was when Sutton kind of chimed in and was like, if you think that you've got Erika, you're wrong. I think that's what made it a bigger deal. And Amanda's sort of right. Like, I don't think that this has anything to do with her and Erika, or even her and Sutton. It has to do something within Sutton and Erika, and kind of Sutton's trying to be like, oh, I'm the best friend now, and I'm like, I'm looking out for her, and because Sutton knows how Erika's like, so Sutton's kind of trying to watch Erika's back, you know. But it ends with like, well, during the middle, Kathy was saying like, you know, I hate when people talk a lot. I just seem to tune out. And I thought it was so funny that they took that clip. Now, wherever that clip was said, they took it and they put it right in the scene where Amanda keeps talking. And I was like, this production really doesn't want. Production is so mean, I think, on the first timers. Like, they just really want to put them to the ringer, you know? See if they can last or not. But anyways, it ends like that. And so now finally the next scene is that they're all boarding the plane for Sedona, and everyone talks about Amanda's Louis Vuitton getup, because everyone kind of has an outfit for Sedona. But again, everyone's picking on Amanda when it comes to her. She's dressed head to toe in Louis Vuitton. I kind of feel bad for her because, I mean, like, welcome to the Shark Tank, you know? But, like, I guess every housewife that's been on these shows kind of goes through it. And it's just like she's new, like, she's a bit younger. Maybe she just likes Louis Vuitton, you know? Even though for Rachel Zoe, it's like, what? Like, it was a 2000 outfit or whatever, all, like, head to toe LV. But, like, if she likes it, she likes it. And it's not like LV has stopped selling it. So I don't see why it would be such a big deal. Although, in contrast, like, it's Rachel Zoe. She's like one of the number one fashion, like, designer CEOs probably in the world. Actually, me and my daughter were watching Gossip Girl. We saw her a few times on Gossip Girl, which is kind of crazy. But she's kind of made her round. She's known for being, you know, the gossip queen. No, not the gossip queen. Sorry, the fashion queen. So I guess if Rachel says it, it's true. But at the same time, like, it's okay to want Louis Vuitton. You know, like, who cares? It's just there's people that can't even afford that. So Dorit is 90 minutes late as usual. I don't understand why she's always late. She always has this excuse. Like, I typically love Dorit, but this season it's just she's just so like like, there's always an excuse for everything, and it's kind of becoming unbearable. Like, I almost can't. Anyways, they sit down for dinner once they get to Sedona. Right away, Amanda is like, oh, well, I've spent $10,000 on crystals before. And none of the ladies, this is where you kind of see all the ladies clocking it, like what her comment meant. No one seems to be impressed with her at this point. And then Jennifer Tilly says, you know, typically crystals are to bring zen and to bring you, like, this kind of, like, really nice environment and attitude, and kind of, like, put you in a really good, like, state of mind. And to say that you've spent $10,000 on it, looks like it's kind of, like, cheap. Like, you're just kind of, like, mocking buying crystals. So I don't know if there's kind of, like, a rule around when you buy crystals, you're not supposed to talk about how much you spent on them, but it seems like they all know something that she doesn't. Like, they're like the older, like, ladies are like, you're not supposed to talk. I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. So Jennifer Tilly turns to Erika and asks Erika who she's been photographed with by the paparazzi. Erika seems happy. She's the one who sparked the conversation with this new friend of hers named John. She said that she had saw him on a podcast. Then when she saw him in London about a month ago, she approached him and said, hey, I'm a fan. And she kind of was like, who the hell does that? Who the hell says I'm a fan? But she did it. She approached him. She's happy. What the ladies noticed the most is that the paparazzi photos caught him in Crocs, and she's wearing, like, no makeup. So it shows that she's comfortable. They're not putting on a show. They were just caught in a moment. And I think when you're seen that way with someone, it means that you're at their most comfortable level. You know, you're not trying to, like, produce something for the cameras or pretend that you're something that you're not. And I'm really glad to see Erika that way. I've always had Erika's back. I've always vouched for Erika. I love her so much. There's just something about her that, like, how she can express how she feels without being scared of other people, that I love. It gives a little bit of Mary Cosby, but not to, like, Mary just doesn't really care about who she hurts. Erika cares, but at the same time, if it's going to overshadow how she feels, she'd rather say how she feels, and I appreciate that about her. I really wish that I had that kind of, like, forthcoming. Sometimes I am forthcoming, but it comes up too aggressive, and I know Erika does too. But sometimes when I see her say how she feels, it comes across as she's just expressing herself and she doesn't really care. And I want to be at that point where I want to be able to express myself, and I don't really care about who it's going to hurt, but I don't intentionally want to hurt someone. So I don't want it to come off as aggressive either, you know? Yeah, so anyways, it kind of ended on that note. Beverly Hills is, you know, I thought I'd miss more episodes, but it's starting to get spicy. So I saw the previews for the next episode. It looks like everyone's going in on Sutton for some reason. I have no idea why. I think perhaps it has to do with the fact that I heard a comment like, this is why Garcelle left, because everything has to be about Sutton. It seems like when Sutton's in the hot seat, she likes to deflect, or she doesn't want to be talked about at all. So we shall see. To be honest, like, this is so weird to say, but I was starting to kind of like Sutton this season. Like, it's nice to see her without her little guardrail Garcelle there. And if you ask me, was Garcelle there as an alliance or as a friend, I would 1000% as an alliance. Like, it's guaranteed. Because the fact that you can just get up and leave and have nothing to do is just crazy. And then I think the whole thing sparked was because someone asked Kyle, was Sutton's ex assistant's name Avi, and for some reason that sparked a whole series of events that we've yet to see. We'll see next episode. But it looks like it's starting to get a little bit more dramatized now. So thank God, because we're kind of missing a little bit of the drama. And I think from what I can suspect, and I'm saying it right now, I feel like Rachel and Amanda go head to head, like they go toe to toe, head to head, toe to toe, whatever. That's what I think. I'm not 100% sure, but just from what I can see, I feel like that's the direction that it's headed. But anyways, with that being said, that's all we have for Beverly Hills. I still have to catch up, you guys, on Salt Lake City and Vanderpump, and I'm probably going to do Southern Charm with Shaw's of Sunset, because Shaw's is out as well, the first episode. I'm just extremely behind, so this week I'm probably not going to be following my schedule. But next week for sure, we're gonna start again with Motivation Monday, and I'm gonna be having a whole bunch of episodes out throughout the week. So just stay tuned. I'm kind of glad to be back on the episode streak, because for a while I was just kind of like lost in my my mental well-being. But to have some shows to watch and something to kind of look forward to, it's fun. It gives me something to do and something to keep my mind off of the really itty-gritty stuff of life, So. These are why I love these shows. They're my guilty pleasures. Hopefully you guys loved it too. And don't forget to please to subscribe. If you guys are not on my YouTube, please head over to my YouTube and subscribe to that as well. I would love that. That would mean a lot to me. Other than that, you guys, I have questions coming up. Most likely for tomorrow, I have my question day. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask, don't forget to head over to my website, The Pursuit of Happiness, NOS.com. Head over to podcast, scroll all the way down. You will see a place that you can leave a voicemail for me, and I can get back to you with some questions. So feel free to just message me on my socials if you have any questions. Hope you guys have a lovely rest of the day, and we'll chat with you soon.